Hello students, welcome to first episode of Light, Reflection and Refraction. In this episode, I'll teach you the meaning of light, properties of light with reflection, laws of reflection, and then we go for the plane mirror, the formation of image by the plane mirror. Meanwhile, I'll explain you the meaning of object, image and the types of images. Then we end the lecture with the numericals related with the same topic. So let's start the lecture. So let's start with the concepts and the meaning of light. Better if you just make a notes with me, whatever the written in the board, if you just copy those things in your notebook, that will be very helpful for you to memorize the chapter for examination point of view, because all the things which I am writing here, that is very important and you should know it clearly. So, what is light? We know the light is a form of energy that is needed to see the objects, because in the dark we are not able to see the object. If you just put this pen, if you keep this pen in the dark, you are not able to see this pen. Only when you on the light of your room, then only you able to see this pen. So in the presence of light only you able to see the objects. So that's why I have written that light is a form of energy and that is needed to see the objects. Now what happen when light, how do we able to see the objects? So when the light coming from the objects enter in our eye, then we able to see that objects. So, but here I have written the light coming from the objects enter towards our eyes, then we able to see the object. But what happen if the object does not emit light? Then how the light enter and how do we see that object? So this light coming from the object, that is for the luminous objects, because luminous objects have their own light, just like star, sun, electric bulb. These are the candle, these are the source of luminous objects that have their own light, that emit their own light. So when that light enters to our eye, then we able to see that object. But what about those objects which we can't, which do not emit their own light? Still we are able to see that object. How it is possible? So suppose this is book that is lying on a table. You able to see that object, that is kept on the table. How? So some objects reflect the light which falls on them. Suppose this is a source of light. So this object does not emit its own light, but when the light falls on this object, it reflects that light. That's why you able to see that object, because that object does not emit its own light, but it emit the scattered or reflected light. Because of that you able to see both luminous as well as non-luminous object. Now I had explained you the meaning of light. What is the role of light to see the object? Now let's start the properties of light. So light consists of electromagnetic wave which do not require material medium for its propagation. which do not require material medium for its propagation, means light even can travel in vacuum. You have studied in class 9 that the sound requires material medium for its propagation, meaning that sound can travel only in a solid, liquid or gaseous medium. Without medium, sound cannot travel, but light can travel in vacuum also. That is what the first property of light says. So the second property is light travel in a straight line. Light always travel in a straight line, but if a small opaque objects come in its path, then light has tendency to bend around its corner. Then in that case, light does not travel in a straight line. So if a small objects come in the path of the light, then the light bends towards its corner. Okay, light bends towards its corner. It does not travel in a straight line in this case. This phenomena, the bending of light around the corner of obstacle, this phenomena is called diffraction of light rays. Okay, so here when the light rays bend around the corner of object. Third property is light exhibit the properties of both wave as well as particle. Means light have characteristic of both wave as well as particle. It has dual nature. So what is reflection of light? Reflection of light is that when suppose this is an object, when the light rays falls on object, then it send back the light rays. This phenomena is called the sending back of the light rays when fall on that object is called reflection. This is an object, this is a ray that falls on that object, then it reflects that ray. This phenomena is called reflection. Reflection can occur in rough surface as well as smooth surface. So first we will discuss the rough surface. What is rough surface? So rough surface is your anything like your book. That is a rough surface. You able to see the book when it is kept on a table, and if you enter the room you can see the book in from anywhere from the room. Okay, why? Because when light falls on when the light falls on that book, it reflects the light in all direction. It scatters the light in all direction. That's why we able to see the book in all direction. So that is the reflection that take place in the book. That is the book is called your rough surface. So whenever the reflection take place on rough surface, then it scatters the light in all direction. And whenever the light falls on a smooth surface, I'll give you the example of smooth surface. So whenever the light falls on a smooth surface, then it reflects the light only in one direction. So what is the good example of a smooth surface? Smooth surface is that surface which is a best reflector or very good reflector, that reflect the light only in one direction. That says I will reflect if the light falls on me, I will reflect the light only in one direction, not like a rough surface. Rough surface reflect the light in all direction. Smooth surface reflect the light in one direction. For example, silver metal is a best reflector of light. And how can we, mirror is also a good reflector, mirror. So how do we make mirror? So mirror is nothing. We take a plain glass sheet and we deposit a thin layer of silver metal over its one surface. Okay, we take a plain glass sheet, and if we deposit a silver metal on its back surface, then your mirror is formed. Plain mirror is formed. In this way you can make the mirror, and mirror is a smooth surface that reflects the light in one direction. So silver is a best reflector. So therefore, to make a mirror, we take a thin glass sheet, plain glass sheet, and we deposit a silver over its one surface. And you will think that if you deposit the silver over the due course of time, that silver layer becomes dull. Then what will you do in that case? So to protect the coating of silver layer, generally we coat it by red paint outside, so that your silver color will not show dull appearance. Okay, and nowadays in lieu of silver mirror, we deposit the aluminium over the back side of the plain glass sheet. Why do we do this if silver is a best metal? Because of its high costing. As aluminium is cheaper than silver, that's why we are using the aluminium deposit on the back side of glass to make it mirror. So before starting the reflection of light through a plain mirror, we should know the meaning of ray. Ray is what? A straight line through which the light travels. So this is called ray. Ray is denoted by a arrow. The arrowhead put on the straight line tells us the direction of light. Suppose if I just draw a mirror, that is my silvered side or painted side. Okay, so how I represent a ray? If a ray of light falls on that mirror, then the direction, that arrowhead put on the straight line, that gives the direction of light. It signifies that light ray entering towards the mirror. If I just draw this line, so this shows that light rays goes out of the mirror. So that arrow put on the straight line gives the direction of the light, or the direction in which the light travels. What is beam of light? The bundle of ray of light is called what? Beam of light. So many light rays together called beam of light. So before starting the law of reflection, you should know the meaning of these small terminologies. The reflection of light from a plane mirror. So suppose this is a plane mirror. Okay, this is a plane mirror. The light which falls on this plane mirror is called your incident ray. Okay, and the point at which it falls is called point of incident. The ray which so here if I just say AB, so AB is the incident ray. So from the diagram, if you want to show that AB is the incident ray, and the point of incident where the incident ray strikes the mirror. So the incident ray strike the mirror. So B is the point of incidence. Now it's come reflected. We know that it is a polished surface. Definitely when the light strike on this surface, it reflects the light in one direction. So the light which sends back, which sent back by this mirror is called reflected ray. The ray of light which is sent back by the mirror is called reflected ray. So here the reflected ray is what? From the figure, BC is your reflected ray. Now AB is incident ray, BC is reflected ray, B is called point of incidence. And here this is your, if I just tell it that MN, so MN is your plane mirror. Okay, now comes normal, a line that falls at right angle to the mirror at the point of incident. So this is called what? Normal. Normal is what? That is perpendicular to MN. So NB is perpendicular to MN. So the line, the dotted line, that is called normal, which is perpendicular to the mirror. So normal is always perpendicular to the surface. Now comes the two important things, the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. That is very important thing. So what is angle of incidence? This is the incident ray, this AB is the incident ray and the normal. So whatever the angle between your incident ray and normal is called your angle of incident. It is generally denoted by I. Okay, and the angle between the reflected ray and normal is called your angle of reflection, and it is generally denoted by angle R. So since I have denoted that the plane mirror by the word, by the alphabet MN, so you can denote that normal with not N, you can denote it by N dash, or any of the alphabet you can choose to denote a normal, in plane mirror, incident ray, reflected ray and so on. So now start laws of reflection. So what is the first law of reflection? We know that this is a plain polished surface. So this is incident ray, okay, and this is reflected ray. This is called your point of incidence, and this is what called normal. This is normal. This is incident ray, okay, and this is what called your reflected ray. So what is your first law? The all three, which all three? Incident ray, normal and reflected ray, all lie in the same plane. They all lie in the same plane and they meet at the point of incidence. So all the three lie on the same plane. That is the first law. Second law states that the angle of reflection is always equals to angle of incidence. So this angle and this angle is always equal. This is the second law. So if this angle is suppose 30 degree, then this is also 30 degree. If this is 45, this would be also 45. The important thing here is that I have marked the star with that line. This is very important. What happens when the ray falls normally? So the incident ray is here. What happens if the ray falls along the normal? It falls upon the normal. Then what will happen? This is the normal, okay, and your ray is falling normally. The ray is falling normally along with the here. This is your incident ray. Here the incident ray is here. But what happened when it falls along the normal? Then this is the angle of incidence. Okay, and here then it reflected back along the same path. It will not show any deviation, it reflected back up along the same path. So when it falls normally, when the ray falls normally, why this happened? Why the ray reflected back along the same path? This is because here your angle of incidence is 0 or angle of reflection is also 0. Why angle of incidence is 0? Because the angle of incident falls on the normal. So, there is no angle in between the normal and incident ray. So, whenever I is 0, definitely I is 0. In order to follow the law of reflection, R should be 0. I is 0, R 0. It means that your reflected ray back in along the same path of incident ray, but in reverse direction. Now let's see what is object. Anything which gives out the light rays, whether it is its own light or it's reflected light, that thing called object. Suppose your sun is you can consider this as object. Your candle is an object because it gives out its own light rays. But your book, your table is also called object because it does not gives out its own light, but it gives out the reflected light. Okay, so if the object gives out it's whether its own light or the reflected light, that is called object. What is image? It is an optical appearance which produce when the light rays coming from the object are reflected from the mirror. So, when the light rays coming from the object get reflected from the mirror, the optical appearance which is produced called image. Suppose if you are seeing your face on a plane mirror, so you are an object and the face that is formed on in the mirror, that your face that you are seeing on the mirror, that is what called image. Image generally are of two types. One is real image and other is virtual image. Real image which actually form on the screen, means the light after reflection meet actually. So, the image which form actually on the screen is called real image. For example, image form on the cinema hall screen, that is the real example of real image. And the virtual image which cannot obtain on the screen. So, here the rays does not actually meet, it appears to be meet here. Here the rays actually meet, the reflected rays actually meets on the screen. So, here this type of image cannot form on the screen, it is just like our illusion only. Okay, and here the image form on the plane mirror, the face that you see your face that you see on the plane mirror, that image is your virtual image. One more important thing about the real image and virtual image now, the real image formed always is inverted. Okay, so if your object is like that, your image formed in upward, downward direction, inward direction. Suppose your object stands like this, the image will form like that. So, image is always formed inverted, and in virtual image is an image that is always formed erect. What is erect? Straight. If object is like that, image is opposite, inverted. Here the object is in that direction, image form is same direction as that of object, that is what called erect. So you can say that real image is inverted, virtual image is erect. Real image actually form on the screen, virtual image cannot form on the screen. The real image, the reflected rays actually meets, but here the reflected ray appears to be meet. So, formation of image by a plane mirror. So, we will see how the image is formed in the plane mirror. So, here this is your plane mirror. Okay, this is object, suppose. So, here this is the point of incidence. I have taken the 2 point of incidence. Okay, so with the light when falls on that mirror, so the light ray get reflected, right? Light ray get reflected. So this will be your, if this will be your normal, this is your incident ray, this is your reflected ray. Here also the light ray fall on the point of incident, it get reflected, right? So this is your incident, this is your angle of incidence, the light ray reflected. But these two rays are not actually meeting on the screen. They are not actually meeting, but they appears to be, if we just extend it virtually, then they appears to be meet on the screen. Okay, so where they appears to be meet, here the image is formed. So this is object, since the rays, reflected rays are not actually meeting, they appears to be meet on the screen. Therefore, it is, here we just say the image is not real, it is virtual. So this is object, this is your image. If here is your eye, so you will see that image is formed, but it is not real, it's a virtual image. So this is the way you have to draw the formation of image in case of plane mirror. So here this is the image. So what are the quality, what are the characteristics of image do we find here? First we will see the image is virtual and erect. Okay, because we virtually make this image by meeting this reflected rays. That's why by making this reflected ray to be meet at point I, so the image is virtual and erect. Second is image is same size as that of object. So if object of size suppose 5 centimeter, so the image, the size will be of 5 centimeter only. So both object and image are of same size. The second property of characteristics of image formed by the plane mirror is that. Okay, the third is image form is at the same distance behind the mirror. Meaning, suppose if object is at 10 centimeter from the mirror, so image is formed at the same distance behind the mirror. So image is formed at the same distance behind the mirror. So from the object, if we measure the distance of image formed, so that would be double of that of object from the mirror, that is 20 centimeter. From the mirror, image is behind the mirror, that is of the same distance at which the object is placed. Okay. Last point is the image is laterally inverted, meaning the right side of object becomes left side of the image form. So these are the few characteristics, 4 characteristics that we see when image is formed in a plane mirror. That is, what are the characteristics? If we just repeat that characteristic, this image is virtual and erect, it is of same size of that of object. It is placed at the same distance behind the mirror as the object is as the distance between the object and the mirror. And the last is the image is laterally inverted. So uses of plane mirror that sometime may ask in exam. So just you have to memorize these things, that the plane mirror are used to see ourselves, that is used in our dressing table, in our bathrooms, etc. So plane mirror are fixed on the inside wall of certain shops like jewelry shops, etc., to make them look bigger. That is one of the use of the plane mirror. The other is that you have studied the periscope. So it is used in making periscope. Let's start few problems. So here is a question. An incident ray make an angle of 35 degree with the surface of the plane mirror. So what is given in the question? This is a plane mirror. Okay, and the incident ray, this is the incident ray, makes an angle of 35 degree with the surface of mirror. With the surface of mirror, it makes an angle of 35 degree. So what is the angle of reflection? So this is what your normal, and this is the angle of reflection. So here in this question you have to find this angle. Fine. You have to find this angle. We know that the incident angle is always equals to reflection angle. Angle I is equals to angle R. If we able to find the value of I, then we can say angle I equals to angle R. So angle R also have that much value. So but we don't know the value of I. So here the angle between the surface of the plane mirror and incidence is given. That is not the angle between the normal and the incident ray. It's fine. So we know this total angle is 90 degree because this is normal. Okay, so how can we find angle I? Angle I will be 90 minus 35. This will be how much? 55. And but also angle I equals to angle R, therefore angle R is also angle R is also 55 degree. That what we need to find. So let's see one more question. The distance between the mirror and the image of object is, this is what? The mirror. So this is your object and this is suppose image. So what is given? The distance between mirror and image is 4 centimeter. So distance between mirror and image is 4 centimeter. Then obviously the distance between object and mirror is also 4 centimeter, right? Because we know the property, the characteristic of plane mirror is that the distance image is formed as the same distance of object behind the mirror. Okay. Now say if object move 1 meter towards the mirror. Now what happened? This is the mirror. Now the object moves 1 meter towards the mirror. Now the object and mirror distance will be 3 meter because object moves 1 meter towards the mirror. So the distance is get decreased. Here the image is formed. So image is formed images also form 3 meter in behind the mirror. Okay. So it is asked find the distance between the object and the image. We have to find the distance between object and image. So what is distance between object and image? That will be how much? 3 plus 3, which is equals to 6 meter. See one more question. An object is placed at a distance of 10 centimeter from the mirror. So here is the plane mirror. So object, this is the object which is situated at the distance of 10 centimeter. which is situated at a distance of 10 centimeter from the plane mirror. So here the image is formed. We know that image is laterally inverted. The image is what virtual and erect, and one more characteristic, that the image is formed behind the mirror at the same distance from the mirror as the object is from the mirror. So image is also formed at a distance of 10 centimeter from the mirror. So how far it would be from the image? How far the object would be from the image? Then means we have to find the distance between object and image. So that is how much? 20 centimeter. It is asked to find the distance between object and image. So here in this question, the angle between the incident ray and the plane mirror is 30 degree. Again, if this is a plane mirror, okay, and this is the normal, okay, so this is incident ray. What is the angle between the incident ray and the plane mirror? So this is the plane mirror and this is incident ray. So here also this angle is given. This is how much? 30 degree. This is your reflected ray. You have to find the total angle between incident ray and reflected ray. You have to find this whole angle. We know this is 30 degree. So what is angle I? So that in first question we did the same thing. So angle I will be 90 minus 30, because your whole this thing is your this thing will be how much? 90 degree. Okay, this whole thing will be 90 degree. So if you subtract 90 minus 30, you will get angle I as 60 degree. So angle I is 60 degree. So angle R will be also 60 degree. But you have to find the total angle. Angle I plus angle R, which is 60 plus 60 equals to 120 degree. So let's see one more question. Here the ray of light strikes on a plane mirror PQ at an angle of incidence of 30 degree. Is reflected from the plane mirror and strikes the second plane mirror QR, which is at right angle to the first mirror. So here it is given the two mirrors. The first mirror PQ and the second mirror is QR, and they are placed perpendicular to each other. Okay. So here what is given? The ray of light first strikes with that mirror and get reflected. Okay. And what you have to find? It is incident at an angle of 30 degree. Okay, it is incident at an angle of 30 degree. Means your I1 is given 30 degree. And you have to find the angle of incident from the second mirror. Okay, so here you can consider this I2 and R2. Okay, I2 and R2. Since you can say, if you consider this AB and this is suppose QC, since, and if you consider this as X, then we can say R1 is equals to X alternate angle. Okay, alternate angle, because your AB is parallel to QC, right? Now you know the value of X. So I1 is equals to R1, right? Because angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection is equals to how much? 30 degree. So if R1 is 30 degree, so R1 is equals to X is equals to 30 degree. So this value X is your 30 degree. Now you have to find I2. I2 is again 90 minus X. This type of thing we have done okay in our previous questions. So 90 minus 30, so I2 will be 60 degree and your R2 will be also 60 degree, as I2 is equals to R2. So therefore the angle of reflection at the second mirror will be 60 degree. Now we have done the reflection, laws of reflection, and the various numericals related with law of reflection. So in our next episode we will see the reflection through the spherical surfaces. Now we have finished the reflection through the plane surface. So keep practicing.